What's going on, everyone? Lalit here. Webull, the app. 3 things you got to know. As you can see, I'm super excited to be sharing this because Webull has literally, from just these features on the app, has actually allowed me to do better at my trading and make more gains during the Rona times and even before that. And in general, Webull versus your Robinhood versus E-Trade versus Charles Schwab. I've used all these brokerages and I'm supremely impressed by Webull. So I want to share these today. And with that, we'll get straight into it. So when you go into the Webull app, and let's say you're looking up a stock. So let's say we look up Delta Airlines. What you could do is at the bottom right corner, if you press the grid button, let's say more, you can actually go to something called dual charts. And so if you remember from the Rona times, and just using this example to bring the point home, let's say we look up SPG, aka Simon Property Group. And if you compare Delta's graph and Simon Property Group, it looks kind of similar. But instead of going to Google and items like this, you can actually use the Webull app to compare 2 different stocks and just kind of see okay, well, this is their 1-day chart. So then if you go back, let's say to the max chart, just an example, you can also see kind of items like this. You have your same kind of at the bottom, your actual volume and spikes in volume as the day goes on, price action, etc. at a very high level. But this is one of those things that really I thought is pretty cool that I wanted to share here. This is similar enough, so I wanted to include this in the first tip, because if you press that same grid button, instead of dual charts, you do the versus/compare. You can say, let's just put that same graph of SPG on here. So when you compare this, you can actually see okay, this is how this lines up. But if you want to compare even more than 2 stocks, you can actually do that. And instead of just the 2, you can do SPG. And then let's say you want to add one more stock. Let's say, just an example, let's say AAL, so American Airlines. Now you can compare these 3. So when you press compare, you get all 3 just like this. So second, if you go to the app and you go to the markets tab right over here, and if you scroll down just a tad, basically there's something called screener. And there's multiple screeners online, but with Webull, what I really liked was that you can actually go to view all and you create your new screener. And over here, you can actually filter in a multitude of ways. So you have your market, you have US, Hong Kong, China, India, Canada, etc. You got the exchange, so you can pick the NASDAQ, the New York Stock Exchange, items like this. And so just an example to walk us through this, let's say we're looking at the sector. And let's just say, for an example, you're really interested into, for example, technology equipment, just for an example. You may think that, hey, there's this demand for the long term, and let's say you're also a dividend investor. So you can actually go down and you can actually go to dividend yield, and you can actually filter by a certain percent. So you have 9 to 21% over here. And what you can do is your estimated matches over here is 91 of them. And so it already gives you a preview into how many you're actually looking at, instead of traditionally, if you're not using this app, where I've seen circumstances come to is literally like you'll filter and then later it'll be like, oh, no results. But here you actually get that kind of insight. So if you want 0 to 1%, you got 4,873, 6,035 when you increase that dividend yield. And let's just say you go over here, you actually have more and more and more. So you can press done. And over here, it gives you kind of that insight and preview. But if you look below, based on your actual criteria, now it looks like there's 278 stocks for you to actually choose from. And if you press view results, it's over here. You can actually add to watch list right over here at the bottom, 200 out of 278. So instead of just going one by one and screening it, you can actually take action immediately if you're looking for really supremely specific criteria. Right before we get to numero 3, I want to deliver max value in this video. So I also wanted to go through a live trade, specifically an options trade using the Webull app. And with that, here it is. So if you go back to the app and you press the center button in the Webull app, it's going to ask you for your trading password. And once you get past that screen, you're going to see this. So I got my net account value over here right now before we actually execute this trade. You have some items like market value, cash balance, day trade buying power, overnight BP, aka overnight buying power, etc. And so my positions, these are all free stocks I've gotten. So again, do check out the link below for your free stocks on Webull. And so when you go back up over here, what I do, and there's probably different ways to do this, but if you do quick trade, and what you do is, let's say we type in the stock we're going to buy today. And so UWMC. So you got it over here. And so this is basically to buy the common stock. And you have limit, market, stop, etc. And if you look down at the bottom right, you have options. So when you press this over here, when we look at the actual dates themselves, so 16th April 2021, so that's actually the next coming up expiration date. And so that was me pressing the actual date and it collapses. So you can see all the different dates in terms of expiration for this particular stock. So coming back over here, and looking carefully over here, you got $1, $2.50, $4, $5, etc. And so what I'm trying to do is at the bottom of the screen, you'll see calls, puts, and both. So if you press both, you'll see both on the left and the right, calls and puts. And then if you do just calls, call prices, puts, puts prices. And at the bottom left, you have single option, and there are other option strategies depending on what you're trying to do. So covered stock, probably covered call, straddle, strangle, vertical, etc., etc. And so today what we're trying to do is just to sell a put. So coming back to puts, and then stock price trading at $8.40, and let's just say I'm willing to buy it at $7.50. So you have a bid of 20 cents and an ask of 25 cents. So I'm going to press the 20 cents right now. So when I buy it, so short put, sell 7.5, 16 of April 2021. So 100, I'm assuming it's 100 shares in a contract for options. And it says sell -1, you can add 2, 3. But if you notice, I don't have margin in this account. And so buying power is around 1,000. So it's going to be $7.50 times 100, so $7.50. So here I'm going to go to edit. And please tap here to manually refresh. All right. And so this is pretty much it. So when you go over here, then day trades left, buying power. And what I can do is just sell. And if you notice, the spread is between 20 and 25 cents. For our example, it says limit of 20. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a market just to see how this goes. And so I'm going to say sell. And you got your order pre-confirmation over here. And so I'm going to press confirm. Given the current volatility, market orders are temporarily unavailable. For opening new options positions, you can use limit orders only. All right, so I'm going to go back, press limit, and 20, look at that, 25 in terms of volume for contracts for 25 cents. So I'm just going to go with 20 just for now. So we complete our example and confirm. And so we have our open orders, and if you saw that one, it disappeared. Sell one contract has been filled, view, and so here we go. So it's as simple as that. And coming back to the main screen to see how our portfolio reflects based on this, if we go all the way back, so 1020, when I refresh, it's still kind of there. So yeah, there we go. So this final third one is actually in the tab of community. And there is this social angle. So for example, at the top right, if I press this pencil kind of thing, you can create posts and actually write, and there's actually a community where you can kind of get this insight and social kind of back and forth like a stock Twitch type of app. But if I go back, what I want to highlight here is I've used news sources, and not specifically this top news tab, but 24/7 news, where E-Trade has kind of this news and from actual respected sources. But over here, you can see the timestamp. It can go really quick and kind of sift through. So whether it's pre-market, post-market, and intraday, of course, you actually get this, hey, what's going on? There's so much more to the Webull app. If you want a full review, drop a comment down below. But with that, see you soon. Peace.